everybody. Last week we saw the Gamecocks bounce back after 2 straight losses. They were able to take down the 18th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. They now sit at 3-3 on the season.
Sounds right.
Week 7 of this season, and as you can see, the Gamecocks are 3rd in the conference right now. We're going to be taking on the Tennessee Volunteers, a team that has underperformed so far. They are 1-5, 0-4 in conference play. Last year out, they had Hendon Hooker, but they struggled to get things going. They finished 7-5, but Hendon Hooker was injured for most of the season. And it is a prime spot for the Gamecocks to be in today. And thank you so much for another big and as you can see, they have Taven Jackson is going to pitch it to the running back to start their drive. Justin Thomas there. They're going to have 3 yards now as they are going to be a very, very run-heavy team. But do not disrespect this passing game. They still have Jalen Hyatt and Brew McCoy out there. And on this 2nd and 7, Jackson's going to go deep downfield. And just the man I was talking about, Jalen Hyatt. He's got 32 yards on the reception. Now Jackson again wants to pass it on a 1st and 10. Instead, he keeps it himself. He's got a lot of space up the right side past the 30. He is pushed out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Taven Jackson, a 17-yard run for the Volunteers. Now 1st and goal. Jackson out of the shotgun. This time it's going to be read option where he keeps it himself down to the 1, and he's pushed in, tripped up right around the 3, but he is able to keep his footing. And he waltzes into the end zone pretty much untouched. I mean, that was a very, very low-effort defensive play there by the Gamecocks. Now Luke Doty on 1st and 10 is going to break a tackle, pitch it back to Marshawn Lloyd at the last second, and he's got a lot of space before he gets caught somehow by the ankles. They're going to face a 3rd and 5, though, later on that same possession. Doty wants to go to the air, fires, and it's way off the mark. Almost intercepted. He did have Jaheim Bell wide open, but Doty just, I mean, he was like 6 or 7 yards away. Now 3rd and 4. It's going to be a deep pass to Callaway. And Jimmy Callaway, he's got 18 as Taven Jackson's strong start continues here in this 1st quarter. Now Justin Wright is going to get it. Not Justin Wright, excuse me. That is going to be Jalen Wright. He's got 6 yards. Now 2nd and 4. Thomas now. Justin returns to his side, and this one's intercepted by Cam Smith off the screen. Smith got an open lane to the 20, 15, 10, 5, and he's into the end zone. Cam Smith leaps over the strong safety there, and he jumps over that receiver on the screen, and he's going to bring that one down, and he's going to take it to the house for the Gamecocks. It's been a while since we've had an interception, and today they are trying to take advantage of Taven Jackson, a young quarterback who so far on the season has 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Make it 5 touchdowns and 6 interceptions now after that pick 6 by Cam Smith, as this Gamecocks defense hopes to come to play today. The Volunteers will try and get right back on track now on 1st and 10. Jimmy Callaway's got it underneath, and he's going to get hit hard. He's got 10 yards, so that's going to set up a 3rd and 1 for the Volunteers. Jackson under shotgun formation is going to go to right. Jalen Wright's got a lot of room up the right side, no pun intended. He's down past the 50 now, 1st and 10 later on the drive. Jackson wants to go to the air again. This time he's got Holiday, who's going to break into the open field, tripped up by Spalding and Jimmy Holiday. He's got a 1st down and more, about 27 yards now, 2nd and goal. Jackson fake it. Read option, keeps it himself down the middle, and he's tripped up at about the 1. 9 yards for Jackson, but a penalty would push it back to 3rd and goal from about the 5. Jackson fires towards the end zone, but Brew McCoy had to come back and catch it. And they're going to settle for an extremely short field goal here. It's a 4th and goal at about the 4-yard line, maybe the 3.5. They have to settle for a field goal as they take the lead. You will take any points you can get against a ranked opponent if you're Tennessee right now. Now 1st and 10. Doty rolls out on the play action. He's got space to run. He's using those legs well so far this season as he just darts out of bounds, trying to avoid contact as much as possible, as he has had the fumble bug. But on a 3rd and 4, a lot of space up the middle, but he took the wrong lane. And Doty is not even going to get close, so they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Doty has 2 people behind him. He's going to call an audible, sending Jaheim Bell to the right side and Lucas to the left side. Marshawn Lloyd doesn't get there. Penalty and everything. I think it's still a hold on the Gamecocks. So it looks like no matter what, the Volunteers will get the ball back, and that is exactly the case as Taven Jackson's trying to get the read option to go again. Kind of broke a tackle, but the Cavalry gets there in time. That was Anthony Rose Jr., and we are looking pretty good right now on defense. 3rd and 16 now. Jackson wants to throw this one, and he fires Hyatt. Had it for a second. Probably doesn't get the first down either way, but he still dropped that one in coverage as the Gamecocks get the ball back now on a 3rd and 11. Doty out of the shotgun. He wants to throw this time. Fires on the outside corner route, and that one very easily could have been intercepted. He has had a slow start, 2 of 6 for the day, as that one was intended for Corey Rucker. Now Jackson on 2nd and 9 fires into coverage. Jalen Hyatt has got it, and it's a penalty on the field. Trying to see what they call this. They're going to call it a roughing the passer. That's going to tack on 15 more. Now 3rd and 3 for the Volunteers. Later on that same drive, the penalty is not helping out this Gamecocks defense. Jackson is going to keep it to the ground. Just keep it simple as Jalen Wright has 4 yards on the play. Now they've got Justin Thomas back in the game. They have a very good running back committee now on 1st and 10. It's going to be read option. Jackson's got a lot of space up the left side, and he gets tripped. Oh, man, Mo Kaba saves a touchdown there. Likely not going to mean a lot, but they right now have him in a good space. 3rd and 6. Jackson to the air. This one's almost intercepted again. Marcellus Dial did exactly what Cam Smith did. Jumps the screen. Just can't hold on to the interception as he would have had a touchdown. But Marshawn Lloyd trying to get this offense going here. A 12-yard run on 2nd and 4. Now 1st and 10 on that same drive. It's going to be a counter to Lloyd. He's going to keep it on the right side. He's going to take it down the right side across the logo. He's got a 1st down. Now 3rd and 10, though, for the Gamecocks late in this 2nd quarter. Doty fires down the seam for Jaheim Bell as he just ran right down that seam looking for opening in that zone. And he's got an easy catch and run there. Now Doty on 1st and goal is going to try and pitch it, and it's fumbled. Thompson picks it up and trips over his own teammate. Oh, man, that saved a touchdown. Luke Doty, a dangerous pitch there, but that is going to take us into halftime. Down 13-7, the Volunteers would just be content with kneeling it, running out the last 30 seconds, and they just wanted to get into halftime with a lead here as your 15th ranked Gamecocks will get the ball first, but instead of being up, they're going to be down by a single touchdown, 13-7. Now we head into that 2nd half and start on a 2nd and 12. Doty out of the shotgun, fires to Marshawn Lloyd on the flat route. Nice blocking up the left side. Oh my goodness, he's open to the 40, out to the 30. Marshawn Lloyd down to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown. 71 yards. You did not see that coming, I can guarantee it. He was open in the flats. Looked like maybe an 8 or 9 yard gain. Landon Sampson throws a side block just enough to get the defender off balance, and he just uses his speed to outrun the secondary, and Marshawn Lloyd gives the Gamecocks a 1-point lead here. Now on 2nd and 11, Marcellus Dial drops another interception. That could have been his 2nd of the game if he had caught both of the ones he's dropped. Now 3rd and 11. It's going to be a pass deep downfield, and this one's intercepted by Nelson Jr. in the secondary. What a grab. He went up and spun around as Keenan Nelson Jr. makes the play. Oh my goodness, that was an athletic play by the sophomore. He hasn't had a lot of time on the field, but he made a big play there, and the Gamecocks are in excellent field position as on a 1st and 10. Juice Wells goes over the top to make the catch, brought down around the 1. He took a big gamble there, Luke Doty did, but now he's 6 of 12 on the day with a touchdown. And they just want to finish it off on 2nd and goal with Lloyd being dragged into the end zone. He had a defender on his back. But instead, the Gamecocks are going to go up 21-13 now. Taven Jackson delivered his 2nd interception of the day on the previous drive. Now they're going to keep it simple and give it to Jalen Wright up the middle, who spins off a defender. Terrell Dawkins has to bring them down from behind about 15 yards down the field. Now 3rd and 5, about 5 minutes to remain in this third quarter. It's going to be another run. This time Justin Thomas makes a nice counter. He's got 6 yards, and unfortunately, he's got the first down now. Taven Jackson in the shotgun formation, 1st and 10. Wants to take the snap, fires on the screen to Merrill, a bubble screen, and he's got it. Not even great blocking, but Walker Merrill just made a nice play on the ball, and he's got 13 yards now, 2nd and 3. Taven Jackson wants to throw the screen again. Jimmy Holiday cuts inside, and he doesn't quite get there. 13 yards down to the 1, 1st and goal. Right down the middle, Justin Thomas, touchdown. And they're likely going to go for 2 to tie it up if possible, I would imagine. I'm going to assume they will go for it, and yes, they will. Taven Jackson's going to give it to Wright, and he's got a touchdown, or I guess a 2-point conversion on the 3-yard run. The counter play has been working perfectly for the Volunteers. Now the Gamecocks do have the ball back, but it's on a 3rd and 10, and this one's broken up. Corey Rucker having a tough day. He's been targeted about 3 times, but every time the defenders have been right on him. And Volunteers get the ball back, but a 3rd and 5 on their part. They're able to convert it with Walker Merrill, who cuts the defenders down the middle. He's going to get a first down and then some as they continue down the field. 1st and 15 now. Jackson wants to go to the screen. This one goes to Thomas. Nowhere to run. He's actually going to be credited with a loss of 1 on the play now. 3rd and 13. Going to be Jackson out of the shotgun position. This one's going to be another pass to the air, deflected by O'Donnell Fortune. He's been a big part of this secondary this year, and that time could have been an interception, but the Volunteers still walk away happy as they get a field goal. And they're going to go up 3 now, 24-21, as Lavosa Carroll has a chance to return it here at the end of the third quarter. He's going to go right down the middle at the 20, cut a spin move, breaking tackles. He is going to bounce off defenders into the open field at the 50, down the right sideline to the 40, to the 30, and down to the 24. Oh, man, what a return. He bounced off about 7 tacklers, and Doty on 2nd and inches is going to get taken down. He does get rid of the ball right at the last second. But unfortunately, a 3rd and inches coming up, and that one's going to be a first down by Marshawn Lloyd. He's got it, and the Gamecocks now 1st and goal. Down by 3 with about 7:44 remaining. Doty pitches it again, and it falls fit to the field again. Oh, my goodness. Picked up by Charles. Oh, man. Luke Doty, his 2nd time pitching it to a man that was covered up. Had no chance to get to Marshawn Lloyd. And the Volunteers take over again, but Taven Jackson is not going anywhere on 3rd and 1, and they're going to punt it away. Lavosa Carroll looking to make an electric return again. He's got it at about the 30. He's going to cut out to the left with some great blocking out to the 40. Make a man miss it with his speed. Spins back inside to the 30 and stumbles down to the 25. Now 1st and 10 out of the shotgun. Double back set. Doty rolling out of the pocket to the right side. Plants his feet. He's got Rucker to the end zone. 25 yards. Corey Rucker. A 2nd touchdown pass by Doty for the day, and the Gamecocks now go up by 4. 2nd and 10 for the Volunteers. Jackson to the air. Deep downfield. Deflected. Intercepted by Anthony Rose. Deflected off of Keenan Nelson Jr.'s hands, and Anthony Rose was there to clean it up as Taven Jackson delivers his 3rd interception of the season, or of the day. His 8th of the season now on a 2nd and 10. The Gamecocks up by 4. You've got to think they want to just continue to run this clock down. Now 3rd and 4. Doty to the air. Nobody quite open, so he just kind of has to take the sack. He tried to get going again as he stopped to look at the field, but nobody was open, and they just accept that one. Volunteers get another chance here on 2nd and 7. Jackson is going to give it to Callaway, and he's got nowhere to go. Jimmy Callaway with a 1-yard rush, and the Volunteers face another 3rd and 6. They are running out of time very quickly now. Jackson to the air, into traffic, but this one's caught. Nowhere else there to go for Walker Merrill. They're going to give the ball back to the Gamecocks now. About 3 minutes remain as Luke Doty has a nice 7-yard run on the read option. Now 3rd and 8. Doty out of the shotgun. This one's going to be an attempted pass. He fires it out of bounds, and the Volunteers get the ball back with about 2.5 minutes left, down by 4. You've got to think this is going to be all or nothing here for the Volunteers as Brew McCoy. A nice start for this drive, a 13-yard catch, now 1st and 10. Jackson out of the shotgun. He wants to give this one to Thomas, who's going to take it up the right side. He's got blockers out the right side, out to the 30, out to the 20, and down at about the 19.5. 26 yards for JWT. He's got a 1st down for the Volunteers, now 1st and goal as the clock ticks down. Jackson, play action. He's going to give it to White up the left side. Open room, and he is not going to get in. Squirrel White looked like he was about 2 yards into the end zone, but they're not going to credit him with crossing that goal line. Now 2nd and goal. Jackson keeps it on the draw, and he just goes right down the middle, trying to get a few yards. Now 3rd and goal. Taven Jackson, 1:12 remains. They have no time, or 3 timeouts remaining. Jackson to the air, intercepted by Cam Smith. A diving attempt for Cam Smith as he breaks up the pass, and he ends this one with 1 1st down by the Gamecocks. The Volunteers have used almost all of their timeouts, and Luke Doty finishes the day with a 16-yard run, and they would run the clock out as the 1-6 now Volunteers gave the Gamecocks a run for their money, but they are able to come out on top. Your final is 28-24 as the Gamecocks extend their winning streak to now 2 here as we enter the 8th week of the season. The Volunteers honestly deserve to beat us. They beat us in 1st downs, total offense, rushing yards, completion percentage, passing yards, 3rd down percentage they beat us in. 2-point conversion percentage they beat us in. They beat us in red zone percentage by a lot. I mean, we got to the red zone 3 times, and we only got 1 touchdown off of it. We fumbled it twice in the red zone. Just not a good showing by the offense today. Very, very lucky to win this one. I mean, honestly, it's a miracle that we did. The turnover margin really saved us here, and that's the first time I can say that. We really limited turnovers despite the 2 fumbles. We didn't throw any interceptions. We limited points off of the fumbles. I think we only allowed 2 field goals off of both of them. Or we allowed 1 field goal and no points off of the other fumble. Then you see Tennessee threw 4 interceptions, one of which was a touchdown, one of which lost them the game. I mean, it was just a good game by the Volunteers, but their quarterback couldn't come through. Taven Jackson has got to be starting to get questioned if you're a Volunteer fan. He has not played well at all. Intercepted 4 times. You know, you have 502 total yards. We had 558 total yards, but you guys had the time of possession for almost 9 more minutes than us. Not a good way to win the game or lose the game if you're a Volunteer fan. 8 of 21, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns for Luke Doty. I really need him to start getting going earlier in games because we don't want to get into holes as often as we have. But Marshawn Lloyd carried this offense today. 18 attempts, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving-wise, Marshawn Lloyd also 2 receptions, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Juice Wells had 2 for 44. Jaheim Bell, 2 for 32. And Corey Rucker, 1 for 25 and a touchdown. We tried to get him the ball multiple times. Didn't work out a lot, but it worked out when it needed to. Mo Kaba led the team in tackles. He had 11 total tackles, 2 for loss. Nick Emenowori, he had 10 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 assisted. Debo Williams, 10 total tackles, 1 for loss. Cam Smith, 5 total tackles, 1 for loss. And let's add on the 2 interceptions, the game-sealing interception, and also the pick 6 early in that first quarter. I mean, I was doubting how he had been playing, but that solidifies his star status. I mean, he has been amazing at times. He has been bad at times, but that really showed how good he can be. Anthony Rose, 5 total tackles. He also had an interception. Then we go down here, we see Keenan Nelson Jr. had the last interception. He lost 3 yards on it technically because he stumbled backwards, but still he had a good game. The secondary as a whole just played outstanding. They played out of their minds today. And the Volunteers, I don't think we're expecting that because they haven't played like that any before. The secondary has been very poor at most points this season. But let's go ahead and check out some very, very good recruiting news. We had a bunch of guys on visits, and as you can see, a lot of them did end up committing. Marcus Clark, we got our kicker of the future. He's from Clearwater, South Carolina. We won't know how good or how bad they are officially until the end of the season when the recruiting classes finally showed in the offseason. But 69 overall right now. We don't need a crazy good kicker, in my opinion. I think he can develop for us over the 4 years he'll be here. Will Archer, a 3-star out of Florida. I wanted to get him to get some depth. I also wanted to get him to keep our pipeline in Florida. So that is a big pickup. Then we get a guy out of Texas I was really happy with, Kevin Clayton. 6'3", 232-pound defensive end. Right now he's a 67 overall. He went up 3 when I scouted him. So, I mean, there's a possibility he continues to go up. Cole Robinson, another guy. This guy is a 3-star out of Camden, South Carolina, a local guy. Went after him pretty heavily. He's not as tall, but he still weighs about the same as Kevin Clayton. So hopefully these guys can play together and develop together. He is 6'1", 232 pounds. He sits at a 73 overall right now, going up 2 so far from what we know of him. At the middle linebacker position, we have a guy, another local guy out of South Sumter, South Carolina, Stephen Lewis, 6 foot tall, 237 pounds. I was really happy to get him. He's the 18th ranked middle linebacker in the class. And he's got decent speed, 81 speed. He's got decent tackling as far as we can tell with the finesse moves, or decent coverage with the man covered at a 70. And then down here we have DJ Long, a 4-star receiver out of Madison, Alabama. He is a speed guy. I'm not sure if we know his speed yet because we haven't scouted him much yet, but I'm fine with leaving him open as of right now. He's 6'3", 187 pounds. Hopefully he can make an impact on this team. I'm excited to have him come in. And then down here from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we've got Jimmy Ross, 74 overall free safety, who has been impressive in his, workouts and stuff. So I'm happy to get him. He is the number 10 ranked free safety in this class. And we are trying to get on the board with a few of these guys now. Chris Jackson out of Gulfport, what I believe would be Missouri, because MS is either Mississippi or Missouri. Jamal Coleman is a guy we're going after. I know he's a lower rated guy, but we need a tight end. Same thing with Tyron Monroe. Going after him pretty heavily. Johnny King, the number 1 quarterback in the class out of Torrington, Connecticut, has extreme interest with us for whatever reason. And I mean, I'm not going to turn it down if he does. He is an 81 overall right now. He's a balanced quarterback. 5'11", though, not the greatest height for a quarterback. But I'm not going to turn him down if he wants to come play at South Carolina. We're going after a guy out of California, Linwood, California, a tackle, Keith Perkins. Here's another guy from Homeland Park, South Carolina, Willie Harvey. Thomas Garrison out of Moncks Corner, South Carolina, a cornerback I would like to get. He's only the number 70, the 71st ranked cornerback in the class, but I'm pretty excited to have him on the board. Bill Benson out of St. Andrews, South Carolina, another athlete we're going after. Same thing with Sean Jones, defensive tackle. Really want to get the depth down on that defensive line. He's from Cedartown, Georgia. Seven Hills, Ohio is where Chris Hall is from, another defensive tackle. And Josh Brown, a guy that I was hoping would commit. Unfortunately, after the visit, we were able to jump up to the number 1 spot, but he has not committed just yet, which is a kind of scary thing to see because you got to look down there. Clemson still has a visit. Utah still has a visit, so he would be a very, very big get for us, but I'm not hanging my hat on it. Kevin James from Troy, Ohio is a strong safety to pair beside Jimmy Ross maybe a few years down the road. He is 6'5", 208 pounds. I liked those intangibles. I liked the height and stuff, so I was pretty happy with having him on our board. Jeff Clark's a guy that I wanted. We don't have a visit until week 13. Kentucky's probably going to be able to get him to commit after their visit. He's from Greer. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get him. Justin Malone is another defensive end. I wouldn't mind if we don't get either of these guys moving him over to defensive tackle because he's a defensive end. But he's a 74 overall, 6'4", 236 pounds from Alabama. Very, very big prospect there. Justin McDonald, another tackle we're going after. He's from California. We're about 1,100 back on him, maybe about 1,200 if you round up. Don't have a lot of hope in getting him. We had our visit, didn't really get us much ground except for jumping over UCal, unfortunately for us. And then down here at the top, we have out of Southgate, California, Michael Homler. He's a very good center, 4 stars, 6'4", 320 pounds, the 2nd ranked center in the class, and he actually stayed the same when we scouted him, so I would love to get him. Unfortunately, our visit's already out of the way. Everybody else has a visit behind us, and it's just not looking like it's going to be that easy to be able to get him in. But if we can get him to the offseason, I think I'll try. and at least get him a commit or something. Give him some points, because that would be best case scenario, honestly. As of right now, we're top 3 for him, so that's really all that matters. And that pretty much sums up the draft class, the strategy we're going forward. I was pretty happy to get all those commits in 1 week. It was a very, very good week for us. We hadn't got anybody yet. Right now, it's not the greatest class, but it's got us sitting at 15th in the country. Much better than last year at this point. And we've got 2 4-stars, 4 3-stars, and the 2-star kicker, which obviously doesn't really impact it too much. So I'm just more than content with that. As far as the top 25 polls go, before we end this episode off, about the same as you would expect: Alabama, Miami, Oregon State, Washington, Ohio State, East Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma, and North Carolina. Oklahoma took a loss to Kansas as they fall 7 spots down to number 9. Rounding out the top 25, though, you have 11 is Utah, Michigan State, Texas, South Carolina. We're sitting at 14. Baylor, Syracuse, Kansas, Texas A&M, USC, TCU, UAB in the rankings for the first time this season as they sit at 5-1. Kansas State, Notre Dame, Houston falling down to 24, and Auburn making another appearance, and as Michigan and Mississippi State dropped out of the top 25. And next episode, we will have another SEC matchup. We have pretty much only SEC matchups from now on until we get to the Clemson game and the Ohio game, which are our last 2 weeks of the season. As you can see, Missouri 2-4 on the season. They are 1-4 in SEC play, but they have a pretty good rushing offense compared to ours. They're number 69 in the country. We are number 99, unfortunately. Turnover differential, we are almost dead last in. Even with that last game we played, we have -6 for the turnover differential. Hoping we can change that this time as we get towards the end of the season, as that's pretty much the main reason we've lost games this year. The Tigers do have a few injuries there. Their starting outside linebacker and their defensive tackle are both out. Defensive tackle for 4 weeks, and their linebacker all season long, he has been down. South Carolina still with no injuries, as you can see. BCS, actually, I didn't even look at. They are number 12 as far as the newest rankings go. Missouri has lost to some ranked teams, though. They lost to Auburn, lost to Georgia, but they also lost to Vanderbilt and LSU. LSU's a good team. Vanderbilt, not so much. They were able to beat UCF. They were able to beat Arkansas, but outside of that, they haven't really been close at all. And it should be interesting to see what we can do against this team. They're led by their quarterback, Cook, still. He has 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season, 67 completions, 837 yards, and then their running back, Young, has 5 touchdowns and about 640 yards. So he is definitely having a good season there. He has less yards but 2 more touchdowns than Marshawn Lloyd, so that's a little interesting to see. Their leading receiver, though, has 41 catches, 489 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Ours is Jaheim Bell with only 29 catches, but still more yards and more touchdowns. So Jaheim Bell has been very, very dominant this year. I think he made a great decision to come back. As you can see down there, the team leaders still are about the same. Debo Williams, 50 tackles. David Spalding, 4 interceptions. And Tonka Hemingway with 6 sacks. They have 2 sacks for their leader. Interceptions is kind of molding there. I think it's 4 for K. Abrams Drain and 16 tackles for Mr. Williams there. Hopefully we can get the win and go on a 3-game winning streak, because after that, our schedule does not get much easier. It's not looking any better for us going forward. We still have some ranked opponents to play, as you can see. We get Vanderbilt after them, then we have Ohio, then we have Clemson still. I mean, we have number 8 Florida. I was about to say we skip on Florida. So we get Vanderbilt next week after we play Missouri. Then we get Florida number 8 in week 11. We get Ohio out of conference game, get a bye week, and then we go to Clemson, a team that's not ranked, but it's a rivalry game. Both teams are going to be playing at their top level, and it's going to be tough matchups going forward. So if you guys enjoy this series, if you are ready to see us take on Missouri next episode, hit the like button and subscribe. Comment down below your score predictions and any ideas you would have as far as what we should do with the recruiting path. Are we going after some good recruits, or should we switch it up a little bit? Thank you all for watching this one, and I'll see you guys next episode.